Hello everyone, and welcome to the Season 1 finale of Rise of the Dark Avatar, an actual play of the Avatar Legends role-playing game by Magpie Games. I'm ELH the Game Master, and joining me are God, I can't even say it right. You know what I'm trying to say, they're great players. They're really great, and I'm glad that we have them. Just a few things moving forward is, again, this is the season finale, not the series finale. All things considered, we all have copies of the full rules now. At least I'm pretty sure we all have access to them. So what that's going to mean is between this week and next week, we will be doing an off-screen revamp from the quick start playbooks to the full playbooks. I think Lu Songshi, for example, is switching to the Pillar from Guardian. So there's going to be tweaks like that throughout. But for you, the end viewer, whatever you want to call yourself, there's not going to be too many changes, but I did want to give everybody a heads up so that when Lu Songshi next week starts using pillar moves, you're like, well, where did that come from? Kind of a thing. But yeah, I'm really eager to get started, so let's do introductions, and we'll do just that. So, Aaron, what you got?
No, not a whole lot. Just to say, hey guys, I'm Aaron. I'm playing Lu Songshi, the Earthbender, using this week, for the last time probably, the Guardian playbook. And he hails from the middle ring of Ba Sing Se.
Everyone, I'm Dare Wolf. I am playing Shazo Lee, the Firebender, and I'm using the Hammer playbook.
My name is Matthew, and I play Amaruk, a female waterbender and successor of a crime family from Republic City.
Very nice. All right, Benno, Season 1 finale. Take it away.
Water, air, fire, earth. Mastery of all four elements has always been associated with the ability to bring balance to the world. But Avatar Aang has passed away, and the new Avatar has yet to be found. In this transitional era of rapid progress and technological wonder, the world must come to rely on a new force to maintain the balance between humanity and spirits, between light and dark, yin and yang. Rava's followers would tell you that this new dark avatar should be locked away without question. Yet as a certain wise man will tell you, light and dark cannot exist without one another. There is light in the darkness, and darkness in light. Can the dark avatar truly keep the balance? Only time will tell.
Welcome back. So, to start off today's session, let's do a quick bit of housekeeping, and then we'll get started proper. So it's been about 2 weeks that you guys have had time to decompress, recenter yourselves, and otherwise deal with the fact that, again, you're kind of on the run without a huge direction right now, but that time off of not having someone breathing down your neck, trying to take you back to prison, or trying to kick you out of the country, it's been very much welcome. So first thing I want everybody to do, you want to reset your balance to center. Your fatigue is all gone, your conditions are all gone, and if you have any holds, those have been cleared as well. So the other thing I would say is that as you all are kind of getting ready to move on, I think Ying, as you guys are kind of walking down a road of the coastal side of the Fire Nation towards what is basically a set of docks where there's a various number of boats that are going to Republic City. Ying and yourselves, all of you are kind of disguised as, obviously not in your standard clothing. You look more like travelers, and you sort of blend in were it not for the fact that Ying's Shearshoe found you about a week ago. Kind of hard to hide that, but all things considered, you guys are just kind of moving with the crowd and are about to board a boat to Republic City. But as you all are, walking along, Ying turns to all of you and says, so, I wanted to run this idea by you guys again. I think I should talk to Tenzin.
You said again, but this is the first I'm hearing of this.
Oh, maybe I... Didn't I tell you, Shazo? I thought I told... Or did I imagine that too? Okay, that
You
expression
did.
tells me...
I'm just curious as to why you think now is the best time to bring it up.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. We all know what I am. Again, looking around to make sure in case anybody's eavesdropping in the crowd. So I thought that, maybe the fact that I brought back his people might be a good thing, and he might be willing to talk with me instead of doing the whole whoosh whoosh with the bending.
I mean, that does sound like a great idea and all, but would he believe you?
Yeah, that's kind of... I don't have a good answer for that, unfortunately.
We don't have any proof, do we?
We really don't, other than the fact that I can do what I can do, but we really don't. I
Really
mean,
should have gotten a letter from Iroh or something, just confirming that. Maybe something from Lion Turtle.
What?
But then again, how would he verify the signature?
yeah.
I think that a Lion Turtle probably has some kind of really unique and incredibly amazing signature. Like, can you just imagine what that would look like?
Assuming you do talk
You'd know
to
if you
him,
saw it.
Ying, assuming you do, what is your desired outcome? What do you hope will happen? I'm not saying I don't think it's a good or a bad idea. I'm just curious as to what you hope will come of it. Maybe that's strange to hear from someone like me. I tend to act before I think, but anyway.
Well, and she actually slows a little bit so that you're not being buffeted by the crowd, but you're definitely not charging forward at this point. She kind of slows and says, well, if I'm being honest, Shazo, your adventure a few weeks ago kind of is the inspiration to this. I apologize if this is too personal, but seeing your mother basically give you, what she gave you, it kind of gave me hope that, maybe Tenzin will be able to call off the White Lotus, and we don't have to be on the run all the time.
All right, let's do it.
And I think, holding back just for a moment, Amaruk is going to sigh and say, not all parents are forgiving or as open as Shaozo's mother. You should be prepared for disappointment. It comes on you fast.
Yes, I give myself 30-70 odds best, but gotta try, right?
Well, as long as you're not getting your hopes up, that sounds great.
And as long as we make sure that Tenzin doesn't hang around with any of the White Lotus.
Well, I mean, I guess the good news is even if it does go south, Republic City's a big place. Kind of hard to... Well, not kind of hard. I guess it is kind of easy to get lost in its spires, or at least I've been told it. Is anybody... I mean, Amaruk, you're from here, from Republic City, aren't you?
Yes, I didn't actually get to leave our various different holdings, compounds, and houses very often, but when I finally was able to do so, it was amazing. Just the press of people, the pressure of bodies and noises, it could consume you.
Which was the next thing I was gonna ask. Do you think you could, I don't know, sniff around or figure out if they've got any more big ticket items in those repositories around the city?
Considering that Hanzo, my husband, quote unquote, fiance, even though that you carried out that wonderful little ceremony where you sundered our relationship, that was very kind of you, by the way. Considering he saw us, they're going to be more attentive to any appearances by me. So
Right.
I'll do my best.
But he's just your big hunk of man meat, right? So you could just totally like flash your eyes at him or something, like bat your eyelashes. Also, can you see if they have any more of those really cool glaives? I would really love a glaive.
Yeah, I'll definitely look for one of those, although I think that was really a rather unique object. And secondly, that's disgusting because I don't have those kind of feelings for him. It's arranged marriage again. Yeah.
Also, he kind of was a creep. I'm just gonna say it. He was kind of creepy.
Yeah, you kind of get why I didn't want to marry him.
So you're telling me there's a chance
Of what?
of a glaive?
I mean, hope springs
I'd
eternal.
settle for a spear.
And I think Ying
settle for a
stops
falchion?
and turns to someone in the crowd and says, "Hey, I'm gonna need that." And they're like, "Well, I want this. All right, here's some. Oh, thank you. Here, have it." And she takes the crude spear and hands it to Shazo. Best I can do.
You're my best friend. And he cradles it.
Well, we all know Fazampo's your best friend, but I'll take second best friend.
Third best.
Who's the second?
He glances down at the spear.
Oh. Well, and at this point you guys are getting onto the boat and just kind of getting settled amongst the passengers. Ying specifically kind of leads you guys toward the back of the boat where it's kind of an open deck, and you kind of can just lean against the railing as you watch, everybody else get on and the boat getting ready to leave. But Ying kind of says, all right, so the flyer said that this is going to be about a day and a half. And, I don't know, do we just want to hang out here on the deck? I mean, the weather's supposed to be nice. Might be nice to sleep under the stars again.
And I think at that, everybody's just sort of at the aft of the ship along a rail. Lu Sangxi very deliberately sort of lowers himself into a seated lotus position, putting his back against the wall, sort of closing his eyes tightly. You can see he's actually become a little bit pale.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, I don't see how anybody could sleep when all this movement is happening.
Emmerich just sort of like gestures towards him as if she's going to reach for his shoulder and then pulls back. That's right, you've got that thing about water.
Right, I'm an earthbender. I like stability and not all. Well, it's always rolled like this.
We haven't even left dock.
I know.
Just feel it moving back and forth so gently, like
I'm
the arms
making him
of a
turn
mother
green.
cradling
stop.
her
Please.
baby. That's just so.
No.
It's
No.
nature enfolding you in its arms.
Excuse me. And Lu Xiangxi will get up and go to a different part of the boat, and you hear a loud horking noise.
My cabbages!
I'm sorry. I'll pay for them.
Well, I'm gonna go check on Lu Sangxi. I'll be right back. And Ying scurries off to go check on Lu Sangxi and the cabbage merchant.
I think you just hear a very muffled as she scurries away. You just hear a very muffled, "Don't look at me."
So, Emmerich, how are things?
I feel like that's a question I should be asking you, considering what you just went through. We haven't really decompressed or talked about it. I'm doing great. I mean, except for the fact that I'm going back home and I'm going to meet my mother again, probably. And
Maybe.
She wants to force me into a marriage with a man that is just a really sick, horrible creep. And my family is tearing the world apart for their own vile, evil machinations. And that's just kind of why I left in the first place. And I have a problem about leaving my problems behind and not actually engaging with them or trying to solve them. I just kind of run from them. And now I'm being forced to confront them. So I'm great.
Emmerich,
How are you?
Emmerich. And Shazo will place his arms on her shoulders and slide around, and I imagine we're maybe on near the bow of the ship, and just walk her slowly forward to the bow of the ship and be like, just look at all this water. It's really peaceful, don't you think?
Oh, so much water.
How did you have that much in your stomach?
Yeah, it is. It really is. Ambiance could do with some improvement, but yeah, she just sort of gazes out at that placid sea, the chop and the waves, and the small bits of foam around the boat itself. Yeah, that's
Nice, right?
soothing. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
want to die.
You're good. Just Enjoy this moment. It's good.
I should write a haiku about this. This is the kind of moment that you capture in poetry.
Fazappo jumps onto her head, looks down at you, and goes.
I agree. That's very insightful. I should write that down. That's going in the haiku.
Excellent. We'll just have a nice moment. We watch the water.
Well, it's going to start to be not so nice because Shazo, as you're watching the water in Amarok, someone bumps into you and they say, "Oh, sorry, didn't mean to bump into you, sorry." And they keep moving.
Shazo checks his pockets.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you go to check your pockets, you are out quite a number of pieces, quite a number of gold and silver pieces.
Does Shazo still have his amulet?
You do still have your amulet, yes, because I figured that was around your neck, and there was no way I was going to get that away from your neck.
Shazo thinks for a moment. Shazo looks to Amrok. It appears I've just been robbed.
But by that guy who just bumped into you?
Mm-hmm.
And then Emmerich just sort of thumbs her chin. Wow, he's good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, my stomach. Yesterday's turnips are now all over the floor.
Could you...
Hey, that's a haiku.
I'm just curious if you could freeze him to the deck.
I mean, there's a lot of water here. I could freeze him in ways that you couldn't possibly imagine.
Just his lower body.
Are you sure? I mean, I could pin his arms to the wall too.
Just his lower body.
Sure. Although that will draw a lot of attention to us.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like a bad thing.
You're probably right. It's just gold. We'll be fine. Turns back, looks out towards the front of the water again.
No, I was just saying, like, and she leans over the railing. We could, like, ambush him or something below decks. We stalk him, we hunt him down. Not in a horrible way, like we're going to kill him or something, but...
Oh God, I hope not.
No,
Yeah, Ying
no.
comes back right at the moment. So Lu Song Shi is having a moment, but why are we talking about killing someone? Why are we killing
Oh, I just
someone?
got robbed. This guy over there that's like halfway down the deck now, that guy just robbed me.
The guy that looks like he's wearing a mullet?
Yeah, it's the mullet.
Hold on, I think I can help you a little bit here. And
Sure.
very furtively, she starts to bend a little sphere of air, and then she whooshes it Kamehameha style at the guy, and his mullet blows off of his head and into the water, and he goes, "My mullet!" And he is currently distracted.
Shazo
what is that?
is going to very quickly move over and attempt to steal back what was stolen from him.
All right, well, we are on the new rules, but the new rules don't really change a whole lot here. There's still the common stuff. So I would say that this is probably going to be a push your luck, unless you can tell me how a pickpocket thing might be rely on your skills and training, because I don't think we've ever established if Shazo is a pickpocket or had training as a pickpocket.
Shazo is many things. Not only is he an airship pilot, he's also a trained thief.
You know what? Why not? Let's roll with it.
Why not, right? I don't know.
Yeah, why not? So if you want to do rely on your skills and training, that's going to be a focus.
All right. Cool. You said focus. So roll passion?
Passion would be the push your luck.
Oh, then I'll just do push my luck, because that's
All
my
right.
highest stat. Why not? All right. I don't think we have any bonuses. No
Well,
problem.
you do have a +1 from chat if you want it.
Oh, I do. I didn't see it. Oh, all right. Cool. Let's do it. All right. +1 from chat. Badoop. Bonuses.
There you go. You get an 8. So
Nice.
I'm going to say you get your money back and then some. But what's going to happen, because it's only a weak hit, not a full hit, some of the guards that are policing the boat are going to see you do this, and they're going to be like, "Hey, what are you doing? Stop going through his pockets." And 2 of them are going to rush over. And just so you have the picture in your head, Guy Sans mullet is kind of built like a linebacker, so he's a big, burly dude. The guards are noticeably smaller. I'd put them at like a kicker from football, American football anyway.
Sports,
So,
got it.
but they're also wearing not quite metal armor like you would see in the Republic City Police, but they still have some sort of Earth Nation style armor on, and they are each carrying a spear, just because they can.
Guards, I'm merely taking back what was stolen from me. He robbed me, and I'm robbing it back. I guess not robbing, just taking?
And the guards look to you, then they look at the guy, and the guy goes to his full height, and I don't think we've ever established how tall Shazo is, but I'd like to imagine
5'6".
Yeah, he's looking 2 feet
tall.
down at you at this point. And he says, well, I didn't steal nothing. This guy's a pickpocket. Let's throw him overboard. And the guards look back at you, Shazo.
Well, it appears it's my word against his. So in that case, and Shinzo bolts back towards the bow, just runs.
Start running. Guards go, hey, you, get back here! And they start chasing after you. And Lu Songshi, if you want, you can come back at this moment. Amrook and Ying, you both definitely see Shazo being pursued by guards.
What is going on?
It's actually a very short story. Shaozo was robbed and tried to rob him back, I guess.
Okay. I mean, really, that wouldn't be robbing him back. That would just be returning his property. That's a different thing.
I think he probably tried to take a little bit more than was originally stolen, so it would be reciprocal stealing.
That is, yeah. Yeah, that is a crime.
So, what do we do? Do we back him up, or do when he gets to us, do we just kind of confront the guards and give our words so that there's more words to believe than the other guy?
He'll be here in a second. And, all right.
Fazzapo's like hanging on for your life.
All right. And you see Lu Song, she just draws a deep breath in and sort of straightens himself back up and turns to sort of face the guards that are coming up, putting on his most, I guess, sort of authoritarian posture.
Shazo's gonna slide tackle behind them and try to hide. Unsuccessfully.
So the guards come to a stop before you, Lu Songshi, because you're taking the front here, and they kind of size you up, look you up and down, and they go, and you with this pickpocket then?
Well, that's pickpocket, and he'll point at the guy who's the actual pickpocket.
Well, I don't know what you mean. I don't. I mean, I've got sausage fingers. How am I supposed to steal anything?
Well, it's been my experience that those make the best pickpockets, plausible deniability and all that.
I think the guards look again, maybe a little more hesitantly at the linebacker before they look back to you, Lu Songshi, and say, okay. I mean, and one of them leans in, look, Rocky there, he does this on every voyage. You guys kind of are the mark here.
Right.
And we're sort of paid to, quote unquote, keep the peace. So either we have to make this a scene, or you pay us and we go away quietly.
All right. I'm going to make this very easy for you. And I think Lu's going to remove a fold of his robe to reveal his badge of office as a member of the Dai Li.
Okay.
And he says, I'll make it easy for you. You take him into custody, or I take you all.
I think that's definitely an intimidate. I think that's an intimidate. Mm-hmm. So go ahead and roll with passion.
Let's roll with passion. Mm-hmm. Chat. Do we have anything from chat right now?
Not at the moment, but
Probably
it is
not.
available
All
if someone from chat wants to slip one in. There you go. Lord Exile got you. There
you guys are so great. All right, come on.
All right, and you needed that +1 to get that 7. Very
that
nice.
is, yeah. So,
let's see. So on a hit, they choose one. All right, so I get to choose one here. I think the guards are going to run to escape and get back up. So they're going to look at each other, look at your Dai Li badge, and go, we need more people for this, Steve. You're right, Bob. And they turn to start running.
Sure, they can go.
So they run off. The linebacker just kind of glowers in the back. He goes to basically a stanchion or whatever the box is called on a ship where you can just like sit on it. He sits on the box and just folds his arms and just stares at the four of you. And Ying kind of stares back and folds her arms and goes, okay, so either we're about to have the entire contingent of guard on us or we're going to get thrown overboard. Not how I imagined our trip to Republic City going.
No, we're not.
Really? This was exactly how I envisioned things going poorly. That's what makes the adventure fun. It's all about the journey, right? Sort of.
And Jim, I want to try to do something.
All right, what are you trying to do?
Is this ship like a steamship?
It's a steamship. I mean, it's going at a reasonable pace. I'd say maybe
So
about 10,
really
15
what
knots.
Yeah. So you're saying like we're the hull is made of metal.
It is.
So I think Lou will just sort of put his hand on the railing, just sort of draw in a deep, sort of cleansing breath, exhale through the mouth, and just give it a little shake. So I picture he's like sitting on a crate with his sort of back against the top railing, and really what I want to do is just sort of fold that railing down so he just rolls off the boat,
Off into the water.
Yeah.
I love this. This is an amazing idea, but I gotta have you roll for it. This is going to be rely on your skills and training. It's going to be with focus.
No!
Oh, with a 5. Well, I mean, if Shazo and Amara can figure out how to assist you, you could bump it to a weak hit.
Ooh. Shazo, seeing what he's doing, would like to heat the metal to make it more malleable.
Okay.
So that it's easier for him. Like he can send some heat along the metal.
Okay, yeah. And then Amarok, how would you be assisting?
And I just mark a fatigue, right?
Yeah, you just
Oh,
mark
Amarok could like rock the ship to the other
Exactly.
side, maybe.
So creating some kind of little eddy in the water, trying to just destabilize the ship enough to make it seem as if it's going to be hit by a minor disturbance that will send him overboard.
Okay, so yeah, Amarok and Shazo mark that fatigue. And this all happens, but just a little bit imperfectly. So all this happens. Mullet guy goes into the drink, but in the process, there was a kid walking by, just, standard, Fire Nation kid, with his mom, and he's all bright-eyed, like, we're going to Republic City, yay! And he's knocked off balance by the linebacker as the linebacker falls overboard, but now the kid is stumbling towards that opening in the railing, and there is no one around to run up and grab him.
Ying, quick, use airbending, push him.
What if I use
Push me the other way.
airbending? They're gonna know I'm...
They'll know enough.
They'll think you're an airbender. It's fine, right?
But there are no airbenders besides Tenzin.
But there could be more.
That's not public knowledge yet.
There are about to be.
I'm not helping.
Screw
I'm
it.
sorry.
And she conjures up a bigger, more obvious ball of air at this point and throws it out to catch the kid. And right as the kid's about to go over the side, the air cushion, almost like that ball that Aang rides around on, same sort of thing, the ball of air swoops right underneath the kid, pushes him back upright, and the mother comes running over, grabs the kid. You're like, oh, are you okay? Are you okay? And the kid's like, wow, that was a lot of fun. Let's do it again. And the mother and several other people are now looking to you all and Ying. And they're not smiling, but they're not frowning, but they're kind of just like was that airbending?
Oh, Shazo, not thinking, steps forward and says, nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here. Just a traveling circus of entertainment. Fizappo jumps on his shoulder and does a little like,
What are you doing?
jazz hands. I don't know. Distracting them.
So, remind me, Shazo, you have the best friend move, right? The one with your animal companion?
I think I do, yeah.
Because if you do, this would definitely be a push your luck here. And
yeah, we'll do that.
I believe that's going to be with passion, but as I quickly look up the bold, which you think I literally just did a video on this, you'd think I'd remember. I believe your animal companion gives you, is it a +1 or is it... you can mark fatigue to roll with creativity instead of passion if you so wish.
No, I'm good. I'll roll with passion.
Roll with passion. All right.
Nice.
You get a full hit.
And watch now, the amazing Fazappo! And then Fazappo does like a...
Mommy, look, the cat squirrel's dancing. All right, dear, we'll go say hello. And
for some reason, Shazo has a little top hat and cane, and he's doing like... If you ever seen Spaceballs, where the alien pops out, hello, my baby, hello. That's what Fazappo's doing. It's quite adorable.
Yeah. So now there's a crowd, but it's a happy crowd that is just watching the antics of Shazo and Fazappo. They're ignoring Amaruk, Lusongshi, and Ying at this point.
Perfect.
Away! Oh, don't run! Slip away!
And I think it's one of those things where suddenly the sort of authoritative facade breaks as soon as Liu Songshi takes a step, and the boat needs, just begins to like wobble.
And as you start to wobble, I think Ying just sighs and says, all right, we'll just make this easy. Swoops you up in a princess carry and says, all right, Amaruk, where are we going? Where are we
This is
hiding?
degrading. Put me down.
No,
And I
you
think-
would barf again if I let you walk.
Amaruk is just looking at that display of physical prowess and seems stunned for just a moment. Right, yeah. There must be some kind of public quarters down here. Let's just head below decks. Let's get out of here as quickly as we can.
Undignified. I am a member of the Dai Li.
You're a sick member of the Daily, one that would literally lose his lunch, what remains of it, if I let you go.
If people were meant to be on the water like this, we would have fins and gills.
I actually hear that sometimes, up north, there's kind of mutation. And you guys get down below decks at this point. But yeah, moving back to Shazo for a moment, how long do you want to keep up this display, I guess is the question.
Shazo's going to let the crowd be distracted by Fazappo. Fazappo's got his little hat out and then places it down and does one of these to, hopefully people, throw a couple coins in it.
Yeah, he's busking.
And at the end, Fazappo puts the hat back on, does one of these, and then bolts through the crowd, and then goes to find Shazo, who quickly slips past and follows everyone else.
Okay. So you guys do find it's not quite an engine room, but it's also not quite a cargo hold. It's kind of mixed, where there's some moving parts of machinery that are powering the boat, and there's some crates that you can hang out near. But I'm trying to think of a good size here. It's maybe about the size of Star Trek Bridge, for example, where it's fairly sizable, but you also wouldn't want to throw a party in here, kind of a thing. But as you're kind of relaxing against all the wooden boxes and the bits of equipment, I think Ying kind of looks to Shazo and says, wow, what would we do without your creativity in the moment? I mean, it's just... I wouldn't
can't
have
believe that worked. Nice job, Fazappo. And he gives Fazappo a fist bump. And Fazappo kind of does one of these,
Yeah.
Is that the hat off that little soldier figure from back in the cave?
Yes.
That's just...
Look, I told him we didn't need it, but Fazappo insisted, and now I get why.
Just looking down at Fazappo and that outfit that he's now sporting, that is really, really dapper. And it's such a beautiful connection between the symbolic nature of your childhood being imported into the modern period with, that's a very nice gesture on your part, Fazappo, right? It's showing you that you care about Shaozo's past. That's, yeah.
I think he's just wearing it
clean his ears. Yeah.
But yeah, so this is an opportunity that unless you wanted to go fight guards, you basically have a day to kill. So open floor, would anyone want to accomplish anything during this day travel?
Get rid of my fatigue.
I would say you would get a short rest in, so you would get your fatigue out of there again.
Cool. Nice.
I think that Liu Songshi will refuse to accept that he does not have any sea legs and attempt to acclimatize himself to life on a ship forcibly if need be.
Okay, trial by fire. Love it. Let's make that a full scene. So tell me a little bit about how you're going to do this. Are you literally going to set up a space between boxes where you're just going to walk back and forth to get your sea legs? Are you going to be just walking?
He's going up top.
Going up top. Okay.
He's got to expose himself to everything, so he has to see the ocean, know it's there, and not submit to his every instinct to try to get back to shore.
Okay. All right. Well, at this point, the shore is far, far behind you. You are in the middle of the You are in the middle of the ocean at this point.
You know, hydrophobia is not a not a logical thing.
All right. Well, I'm just trying to think what I can make this in terms of rolls here. I'm thinking maybe a push your luck. Yeah, I'm thinking a push your luck is what we're gonna have to go with here. Go ahead and give me a passion roll. Let's see how you do.
All right. I think that as he's sort of walking up and down the deck, just almost like trying to stride, but really tentatively always having like one hand on the railing to sort of steady himself, just under his breath, going, no, this is, I decide what happens. I decide what happens with me. If you throw up, it's because I say so. And he's just sort of glowering at the ocean.
Eyes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, here we go. Come on now.
Okay,
Aw.
not snake eyes. You get the full hit. Yeah. So.
You don't. Nope.
Yeah.
No, you don't. And he'll just sort of look at the ocean scornfully. Not today.
So you don't get your full sea legs after a few hours of this, but you are able to at least walk
significantly
around.
less green.
Mm-hmm. Now again, you're not going to be the fastest person on the boat, but you can move around at a reasonable speed. And as you come back to the rest of the group, I think Ying has turned to Shazot once more and goes, so, Shazot, have you given any more thought to that, pointing at your necklace?
Oh, hey Fazzapo, show him that cool dance you've been doing. And Fazzapo will look at Shazot and not do a dance, and then just cross his arms again. And Shazot will be like, buddy, I really need you right now. Fazzapo just shakes his head. Shazot goes, I have, actually. I kind of thought about it a little bit. And he takes it off for a moment, holding it in his hand. I think you should hold on to it for me.
And Ying actually kind of is a little taken aback. She goes, are you, that's your, I guess you would call it heirloom. Why would you give it to me?
Because when you go to talk to him, I think you need something to offer. And if that conversation's going to go well with the last Airbender, then I want you to have every leg up that you can.
Well, I mean, you could be there at the meeting. I'm not going to go there alone unless you really want me to go alone. I mean, I'm going to take all of you, motioning at the rest of you.
Yeah, no, I'll be there. I think you should have it. He's going to offer it to her.
Let me look at your sheet because she might try and shift your balance here.
Go for it.
Let me see. Player character, Shazot Lee. Yeah, I think she is going to try and shift you back towards care.
Ooh.
So the way that's going to work, it's still the same way that it was beforehand, but I think it's a little bit better. So you're going to roll with care, and on a hit, you're going to do as they say or mark 1 fatigue. So go ahead and roll with care here, and let's see what happens. All right, you rolled a miss. So actually, as she's telling you, like, hey, you should keep this, you're the one that needs to do this, you are going to stand strong. So you don't have fatigue or condition to clear, but you could shift your balance if you wanted to.
I'm going to shift my balance. +2, -2.
Okay.
And almost, he's been very calm during this journey, and has just been maybe even a bit just quiet. That forcefulness that Shazot sometimes has, he shoves it into her stomach and says, I said take it. Just take it.
And again, she's a little taken aback, and she very gently takes the orb, and she says, I'm worried about you, Shazo. I mean, if I didn't know any better, are you all right? Do you need to talk about anything?
I'm fine. Why does everyone keep asking me if I'm all right? Amaruk's the one that's gonna go see her mom. That's crazy, and her weird fiance person who's not a nice person, and everyone's seasick. I'm fine. I'm totally fine. And he's just gonna like march off to a corner and sit down and pout.
Ying turns to Amaruk and Lu Songshi with the orb in hand, and she just kind of looks questioningly like, what should she do?
I think
Amaruk, just go ahead.
Oh, no, you go first.
I was going to say, Amaruk is going to reach out her hand questioningly for the artifact and give her sort of a raised brow.
I think she'll offer it out for you to inspect, but she's going to hold firmly onto it.
And just holding onto it for a moment and shifting it slightly in her hand so that that inner flame flickers slightly in the light, Amaruk is then going to almost hand it back and say, I'm the one who runs from my problems, not Shazo. That's what he's trying to do. And I get that. I get why having that kind of responsibility is not something anyone wants in their life. But it's been forced on all of us. Me with my mother, Shaozo with that, you with, and she just gestures at the entirety of her, this, what you are. I don't think this is yours to keep.
Well, I think if I give it back to Shazo, he might break it out of anger. I'm kind of worried about him.
And I think, without saying a word, he's not going to address them or really engage with them in any sort of meaningful way.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just going to walk over to Shazo, and I just picture sort of Shazo sort of like seated, sort of like eyes downcast, and I think Lou's just going to stand there. He's not going to sit down on his level. He's just going to look down at him and say, "What are you doing?"
What do you mean, what am I doing?
With the amulet. What are you doing?
Nothing. I'm sitting here, just thinking.
Thinking.
Yeah,
About...
I do think sometimes. I know I can't read, but I do think, because I can think with my brain.
I never said you couldn't read. Not once.
Oh, that's fair. Sorry, I'm a little confused right now.
You don't want to decide. You don't want to have to make that choice.
I can bring him back, Lou. I can bring him back, and that solves everything, but maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't solve everything. It's just me not taking care of my own problems again, and it feels selfish. And I think I've been selfish my whole life, and I don't want to be selfish anymore.
So, to you, giving someone who had their life cut short unjustly and undeservedly, giving them their life back is selfish. Yes, you want your father back. Of course you want your father back. You love your father. That's the way it's supposed to be. And eventually, we all have to say goodbye, but he was taken. He didn't go because it was his time. He was taken by your brother. You have the opportunity to do what perhaps no one else has ever had the opportunity to do and may never have the opportunity to do again. To reach across the boundary to the spirit world and bring him back to where he belongs.
But if I do that, I can't stay with you all.
I know. But sometimes the right thing is the hardest thing. Right now, everything is the way it is. Your brother's bad, you're good. Your father's gone, you're with us. And you don't have to leave if that doesn't change. And that's easy. I can't make the decision for you.
Hey, Ying, can I have that amulet back? He's gonna stand up and walk over to Ying.
Ying very happily hands it back to you.
Sorry, I know that's usually no takesies backsies, but I got a thing that I gotta maybe do. Lou, you're really smart. Amrook, you really dropped the ball on this one, but it's fine. Just go read a book. Anyway, I digress. So we're going to the city. This is gonna be great. I've never been to a big city before. Also, Lou, you are just rock solid foundation. That's great. Fazzapo, shoulder. Let's go. Are we almost there yet? And he seems like really just back to himself.
And Ying kind of goes, no, it's only been an hour. We've got another 23 ahead of us.
Nice. I'm gonna go get a sandwich and take a nap. And then he reaches into a bag, pulls out a fully built sandwich, and just and then falls asleep instantaneously.
I gotta ask him where he keeps hiding the sandwiches like that, because that's just mildly impressive.
I don't know.
I think it's
falling
one
asleep
of
like
those.
that too.
I think it's one of those questions where either there is no answer, or the answer is so insane that it would drive you mad instantly if you ever learned the truth.
I don't know, that sounds kind of fun if I'm being honest.
I mean, that's right up my family's alley, so I'd sign up for that.
But hold on, are we implying that Shazo has some artifact that lets him just, like, store infinite sandwiches? That can't be a thing,
That would be ridiculous.
Of course it would.
And I think everybody just looks at Shazo sleeping.
Fazzapo on his chest, just up and down slowly. Yeah.
Alright, well, okay. Let's maybe not wake him up and bother him with that. Okay, yeah, we got 23 hours to kill. I'm at a loss here.
Ying, it's a good idea.
Well, what is? Just leaving him alone, or just in general?
What you want to do in Republic City.
Tenzin, yeah.
It's a good idea. If anybody's capable of understanding our current predicament, it would be the child of somebody who went through something similar. And Amrook, running from your problems may have been what you were doing, but that's not what you are doing.
No, it feels like I'm being forced to confront them, so it's not even really my choice.
Water goes where it goes.
Hold on, weren't you the one who was just saying to me a few weeks ago that water can like freeze like ice and break rocks, so it's a flowing river that forces its way through barriers?
Absolutely.
But your advice is very conflicting.
No, it's only under circumstances change. Advice needs must change as well.
It sounds like you're just kind of trying to formulate some sort of post hoc justification for giving me contradictory advice.
What do you think happens before the river swells and annihilates everything in its path? It takes the path of least resistance.
And as Shazot is sleeping, he simply whispers, "You must be shapeless, formless, like water."
It takes the path of least resistance until it meets an obstacle. Then it rises. Then it swells.
Quick glance over to the fire necklace on Xiaozuo's, around Xiaozuo's throat, and she sighs. But I don't want to destroy my family or my mother. If I was given the chance that Xiaozuo has to go back, to be a little girl again and sit on my mother's lap as she taught me how to read, as she was good once. She wasn't what she is now. I don't know what changed or what happened to her, but I want that back. I don't want to be directed. I don't want to destroy. I want to restore.
Well, I know she couldn't have been all bad. Because there's a part of her in you. And you're one of the truest people that I know. And I don't mean to tell you how to do things. I see things a certain way, and that's mostly all I ever see. But what I can tell you is that you don't need... I may liken you to water, but you're not water, you're a person. You have your own mind, you make your own choices. You've already shown a willingness to stand up for what's right, even if that means opposing your family. I don't want you to have to be in conflict with them. But they need to change, and you need to be the catalyst for that change.
And I think that Emmerich is just going to flip over the flap of her her satchel and withdraw the book that was from the library of Wan Shitong. Just set it on her lap. I've been copying this out. I've been trying to take notes, summaries. There's a wealth of history here, of knowledge, of things that normal people never would have learned, that would have been stored away in that library and left to rot or be forgotten. But I still kept something that wasn't mine for my purposes. You say that there's something of my mother in me. There is. Maybe you were right. Maybe that's something I should be afraid of. Maybe I can't reform them because I can't change myself first. Maybe I am just my mother's daughter.
We're all our parents' children.
And I think Hose of the Shirshu, who never really has a moment in these things, but Hose of the Shirshu wanders over and just like starts to nudge Amaruk with its nose.
Don't let her lick you.
Right.
Yeah, remember what happened to... Yeah.
We've got anti-venom now. We've got that.
Just very sort of hesitant and then increasingly confident pats and then strokes to the top of the Shirshu's head.
The anti-venom tastes horrible.
I thought you were supposed to inject it, not drink it.
Maybe that's what took so long to work the last time.
That would solve a lot of problems.
Yeah. But Hosa, what's up? I like the fact that you're back and being buddy-buddy, but why are you messing with Amarok? And Hosa takes a big sniff in on Amarok, getting all that scent into its nostril. And then it peeks up like you would see a dog, like hearing a loud noise or high-pitched noise. Its ears just go straight up, and it looks to the east where you're traveling. And Ying looks between Amarok and Hosa and goes, "Oh, I think she's gonna try and find your mom, though I don't know why."
Well, I mean, she's probably at our compound. Maybe it's changed since I was last there, but I appreciate that. Hosa, thanks. That's very thoughtful of you.
Well,
She just looks questioning over at the avatar.
Yeah, and I think Ying just goes, "Hey."
Okay.
all right. Well, if we're going to have this, if Hosa's going to find your mother and we end up having a showdown, I want to make sure that I at least manage to eat something on this voyage, so I'm going to find some food. But
Should we
because he
check
passes-
Shazot's infinite
As you
sandwich?
mention food, Shazot is suddenly wide awake, right next to you, with what was it? Cabbages you liked? No, it was
Turnips.
Turnips with a turnip sandwich. I made this for you.
How did you know?
I know everything. And he slowly hands it to you.
And a turnip sandwich, for anybody that's paying attention, is basically it's a keto sandwich, and instead of bread, there's 2 more pieces of turnip.
It's the whole thing.
It's just
Zappo with his little like pause, just this, as Shazot slips back into the darkness.
it's like chewing on happiness.
He then appears next to you with some turnip dip for your dipping pleasure.
You just sort of take it and like put it between the slices of turnip. Saying, I was saying something. Right. This is the last that I'll speak of this for now. But don't give up on your mom.
Thanks for never giving up on us.
Well, I mean, you guys would do the same for me.
We'd probably try, but not nearly as well as you do. To be fair.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And Lou will just sit down and begin to munch.
And as that scene draws to a close, that's where
Is this horseradish?
That's where we're going to take our 5 to 10 minute break. So we'll be back shortly, everybody. Stick around. Right, and welcome back to part 2 of the season 1 finale of Rise of the Dark Avatar. If you're just joining us, well, the players in the Dark Avatar have gotten on a boat to Republic City with the intent to talk to Tenzin, the canonical last airbender, but in this canon might not be the last airbender for very long. Not in a sinister way, I mean more of a we brought back the airbenders way kind of a thing. I probably should have said that better. Anyways,
The Dark Avatar got really dark.
yeah, that got really dark. Wow. Okay. All right. Good move, me. Anyways,
Awesome.
before you
That's
guys
awesome.
arrive in Republic City, is there anything else anybody wants to accomplish on the boat? Anything at all?
I want to make a narrative declaration that, like, Lou only gets like actually comfortable with being on the water as they're tying up, and then has to get off.
Nice.
So like
Nice.
doesn't have time to like enjoy it at all.
Can he stumble on the dock for a few moments because he has his sea legs and
Oh,
forgot
yeah.
his land legs? That would be funny.
That'd be hilarious. So, as you're stumbling around, Ying's kind of
Oh,
stretching and kind of looking at the city, and she goes, "Wow, Amarok, you lived in this?" And, kind of to give you that map of Republic City. If you've seen Korra, you've seen Republic City in this time. But for those of you that have never seen Korra, basically imagine that it's a city that sprawls across basically 3 land masses. There's kind of a central peninsula, and then there's kind of an arcing sort of crescent moon that sort of goes behind it. And behind the city is the backdrop of some beautiful mountains with snow-tipped peaks. But the city itself is actually kind of contemporary. There's skyscrapers, there's large apartment buildings, large office buildings. There are blimps with the Republic City emblem on it that belong to the police force. And if you look out across the water to the west, you would see that there's a big statue of Avatar Aang himself with his trusty staff kind of out in front of him, leading the way forward. And then past that statue, a little bit to the south, is Air Temple Island. And Ying at this point is kind of talking to people on the dock, trying to figure out how to get to Air Temple Island. And she comes back to you all and says, well, Liu Songxi, I know you literally just got your sea legs off again. We're gonna have to get on another boat, is what I'm trying to say. And it's gonna be a smaller boat.
It's not that big.
Well, it's okay. I wasn't able to find anything but a rowboat, so.
No, I mean the city. I don't see what the big deal is. It's not that big.
I mean, yeah, compared to something like Ba Sing Se, maybe, but.
Ba Sing Se. No, that's a real city.
Excuse me, Amarok is just going to step forward. Look at the complexity of those designs for these skyscrapers. That vastly outstrips anything that is in Ba Sing Se. Think about all the metal benders that had to work to forge that kind of material, right? Whereas Ba Sing Se just has all the pithy little earthbenders, right? You were striving to become a metal bender, right? Because you recognize the superiority.
That's not true at all. Striving to become a metal bender because if there's let's just go.
All right then.
Yeah.
But also it is just a giant prison, and it's a horrible nightmare catacomb of misery and poverty. But the skyscrapers are nice.
Hey, this rowboat's really nice.
Yeah, I had to spend most of my money to get it, but we've got it for the day.
I was a master Roman back in my day.
Is that what they call it, Roman?
All right, let's go.
All right, so the 4 of you are going to go over to Air Temple Island, apparently with Shazo at the oars. Hoza the Shirshu will stay on shore, but will listen to Dark Avatar Yang and go basically hide somewhere or go find a stable to sit in until you guys get back. But as you approach Air Temple Island, you notice that there is about 3 White Lotus airships that are currently docked with the island. And as you get closer and you see that, I think Ying kind of stops Shazo for a moment and goes, okay, I'm thinking this is maybe a bad idea.
That's exactly what I was talking about. But
why is this bad
the idea is still good. They have no reason to suspect that we'd be here. The rank and file of the White Lotus don't know about you. We just need to play this cool.
I'm pretty sure that's the airship we stole. And she points it out, you see that it is your former airship.
My airship! And then Shazo starts rowing faster again.
But Lou does have a point. I mean, just think about it like this. We would be absolutely idiots to come to the center point of White Lotus activity inside the city. They'd never expect us to come here rowing up on a little tiny boat like this.
We have a saying where I come from. The closer you are to danger, the farther you are from harm.
The closer you are to your own airship. Let's go!
All right, so I'm going to say that getting to the island itself is going to be a push your luck, but only one of you can roll it. So whoever feels the most lucky, there you go. Shazo has got a miss.
Yes.
Could I Could I assist with that?
If you tell me how.
Certainly. So I think at one point it appears as if the boat is going to capsize because of his exuberance and his actual lack of aptitude. But in that moment, as he is just lurching to the side, sort of in this effervescent explosion of energy, Amarok notes that and then makes a sort of whirling motion with her hand to stabilize the water and keep them on track.
I meant to do that.
So
You're keeping us, focused. Right.
Airship.
This really isn't so bad.
The good news is you do scrape by, but it's going to cost you something. And what it's going to cost you is that when you pull up to the docks of Air Temple Island, your element of surprise is fleeting. You can see that there's already White Lotus coming down to meet you, but they don't appear to be yelling. They don't have their weapons ready, but they did notice you get to this point. So Ying kind of looks to the rest of you and goes, all right, are we visitors? Are we fighting? We need to make a call real quick here.
Visitors.
Airship inspectors.
You can only pick one. Are we visitors or airship inspectors?
Visitors.
Visitors, yes.
And at this point, the
Fine,
White Lotus
we're
people are
visitors.
close enough. And the lead one says, hello there. We weren't expecting any visitors to Air Temple Island today. Please state your business.
Exactly that. We're here to visit, perhaps taking the grounds if we could. This is our first time in Republic City.
Also, that magnificent airship. We'd love to take it in. Take it out. Look at it.
They kind of look at you a little funny, Shazo, but they kind of just shake it off. The one that was talking to you continues and says, well, unfortunately, you've come at a bad time. Master Tenzin is currently meeting with Master Yera of the Grand Master of the White Lotus. And unfortunately, we've been instructed to not let anyone else onto the grounds until that meeting is over.
Well, I see that. Say no more. If you'll just permit us a few minutes to rest. It was not easy to row all this way.
Yes, we did see that display, and they kind of look at Shazo with kind of a smirk. You ever think about pro bending?
Perhaps.
Well, you'd probably have a good career as a pro bender, though. I don't know. And the other one kind of nugs and goes, hey, we can't talk about pro bending on the job, man. We've been over this. Tenzin yells at us every time we listen. All right. He's got the build for it. He's got the power, I think. And they.
Is there an arena in town?
Yeah, that's the arena over there. And they point across the water at that big amphitheater that's shaped like a coliseum. That is where they hold the pro bending.
I'm from Ba Sing Se originally, and I remember loving watching the pro benders when I was a kid. And what I want to try to do is talk to them and sort of wrap them up in a conversation about pro bending. And just sort of behind him, you'll see him sort of waving his hand for them to
sneak past.
To sneak past. If
All
I
right,
can.
I think for that you're gonna have
Push
a
your
trick.
luck.
Well,
Trick,
I'm thinking
yeah.
a trick is probably better here.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's
Let's
gonna be
roll
with creativity.
Creativity. All right. Let's give it a go.
And let's see if chat wants to give you a +1. Let's give chat a moment to catch up. Maybe. You never know. Let's see. They might not be.
I don't see anything. So
yeah, I think you're just gonna have to roll.
We're just gonna roll this. Ha!
All right, you get the full hit anyway. You're good. All right, so you get to pick 2. They can either stumble and you get the +1 forward. They either act foolishly and give you another opportunity, or they're going to overcommit. So you get 2 of those.
I would like them to, let's see, act foolishly and overcommit.
So they are enthralled by your talk about the pro benders. And in fact, as they are so enthralled and consumed by this conversation, Shazo, Amarok, and Ying, you guys are able to get up the stairs to the main sort of courtyard of Air Temple Island. And what you see is that in one of the guard shacks, there are about 5 or 6 more White Lotus, but they're listening to pro bending on the radio right now. So that's what the additional opportunity is going to be, is that they're so consumed by the actual sounds of pro-bending that they're not going to notice you proceeding in towards the temple itself. Now, the temple itself, for those of you who haven't seen Korra, it's kind of made out in the style of what we see in Avatar: The Last Airbender, kind of those actual air temples in the east and the north and the west, etc., etc. But it's more, I would say it's with more Earth Kingdom tones, where it's not as tall, it's not as open per se, but it's definitely got some Air Nation style to it. So lots of white walls. I believe, if I remember correctly, it's orange and green roofs, and there are just a few not White Lotus people moving around in sort of those orange robes of air nomads, but they don't really seem to be paying you any mind at the moment.
And can Ying be like holding Shazot like around his chest as he's just reaching for the airship? He's being quiet, but he's just like, I want my airship.
No. You know, we can't. If you run for the airship, they're gonna know. But no, I mean, Emmerich, Shazot, serious moment for a moment. Do I just bust into the meeting with the Grandmaster? Do we just hide and wait? Like, what do we do?
Well, isn't she going to attack you if you show up?
With what? I took away her bending.
Well, fists are fairly effective. She seemed like a capable combatant, but either way, that would cause things to devolve into chaos.
So, hide?
I think so. Hide until we can get Master Tenzin alone, or she actually looks over at the airship for a moment. We could create some kind of distraction to draw Master Yira out of the room.
I think Ying lets go of Shazot at that moment. I don't know, Shazot, you,
He dusts himself off. Fazapo gives him a little like, "Meow." He's like, fine, Fazapo.
Well,
Get it
no,
later.
I mean, you could create the distraction with the airship.
Oh, and then Shazot is already off towards the airship. Like, you don't have to tell him twice. Fazapo's like hanging on to like the end of his robe, like, me. Airship.
Before she races off after him to try to curtail the damage he is about to do, Emmerich is going to turn back to the Avatar and say, I guess we're kind of leaving you alone on this one, but I'm here in this city to deal with my family problems, deal with my responsibility. I know that you can do the same. We all believe in you. Whatever happens, you can see this through the end.
That's good, because sometimes I wonder if I even believe in myself. And then she kind of does that thing where she slaps both sides of her cheeks. It goes, all right, I got this.
Whoa.
Whatever you guys do, Yera's probably going to come chasing after you guys, trying to figure out where I am. In that moment, I'm going to try and meet with Tenzin and have like a brief conversation. But if Yera's here and she's told him everything, it might be a whole fight. We might be literally going out of Republics. I don't know. I don't know.
If I may, Game Master.
Yes. What you got?
As she finishes that sentence, you can hear the engines of the airship starting to boot up.
Hey, who let you on that ship? Get away from the controls.
It's my airship! It's legitimate salvage!
You may have +1 forward for that Expanse reference.
Thank you.
All right, so the way this is going to work is we're going to be in kind of a combat exchange here. Amaruk, as you run up to the airship to try and help Shazot. What I'm imagining is, Shazot, you've kind of pushed or otherwise bent about 3 White Lotus off the airship, and 3 more are running up the ramp trying to get aboard. And Amaruk, you're right behind that pair of White Lotus that are trying to get aboard the airship. So we are going to enter into a exchange here. And as usual, I do need you all to select which approach you are taking in this moment.
Am I in this exchange as well, or no?
I would say that I'm going to let you come in at the next exchange, because remember, it's a turn is an exchange, and then the next turn is a new exchange. So you can come in at the next exchange, and we'll deal with you at that time. But for this, it's going to be just Shazot and Amaruk.
I would like to pick advance and attack.
Okay. And then Amaruk, what are you going to be selecting?
I think evade and observe.
Evade and observe. Okay. So, advancing and attacking, the PC is going to go first. So, Shazo, you get to go first here.
All right, I roll passion.
Correct.
Cool beans. Any help from chat? Nothing. That's fine.
I think the problem is I may have put too big of a cooldown on the roll. You don't need it.
Full
You
hit.
get a
Let's
12.
go.
You're good.
All right, so I would like
two
to pressure the guys coming up because I don't really want to like fight, but I would like to pressure, and then I would like to pressure them to keep them back, and then I would like to smash by. I hate to destroy the airship, but sacrifices must be made. I would like to melt with a flame strike, melt the ramp up. Maybe it's a ramp that's not even attached to the airship. It's just a ramp that was just put up, and I would like to cut that so that it's harder for them to get up on the ship, if that's possible.
So you can do both of those, just mark a fatigue, and then for pressure, which approach do you not want the foes to use in the next exchange?
I would like them not to be able to advance and attack.
Okay. So, again, this all happens at once. So, Shazo, as you're coming down with that gout of fire to melt or otherwise sever the ramp, the White Lotus are going to be running up and attempting to get over it. And they're going to attack as a group, and they all appear to be firebenders as well. So, they're going to meet your flame with their flame. And in that process, I'm going to need you to mark either one fatigue or take a condition here, as your flame is almost canceled out by their flame.
Shazo is going to get angry.
Okay. So, that's going to be all of advancing and attacking. We now go to evading and observing. So, I don't think you have a fatigue, Amaruk, and you can roll with either creativity or harmony.
Okay. Creativity, then?
Okay. And that's a hit. You get one.
Then I would like to bolster or hinder by using some of the water, so calling forth some of the water surrounding the facility, maybe that's running through some of the various different aqueduct systems inside the temple, to create a sheet of ice that would impede the motion of the guards who are trying to scramble up onto the airship.
Okay. And that just happens. So you sweep across just a sheet of ice, and they start to spin out and sputter and fall on their butts as they slip and slide. And at this point, you two are making a racket. And Lu Songshi, even you hear it from down on the docks. And the guards kind of look at you, Lu Songshi, and then look around and go, "Hey, wait a second, where did..." Your friends are trying to steal the airship, aren't they?
It's a legitimate salvage!
This was not my plan!
Well, originally that wasn't the idea.
I think it's a great conversation about pro bending too. Like, I thought we were bonding, man.
I know, I'm sorry.
All right, so you get your own little mini exchange here because of how that's shaped out. So what are you going to be doing for your exchange, Lu Songshi?
All right, I think what I'm going to... you know what? I think for my exchange, I am going to defend and maneuver.
Okay, well, you get to go first then.
All right, let's roll with focus.
You get a full hit. There you go.
Okay, so I am going to seize a position.
Okay, where do you want to go on Air Temple Island?
Yes. Yeah, I think what I want to do for my seize a position is really I want to. So, all right. So Shazo's engaged with firebenders on the airship, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you would hear Amaruk as well, if not see them.
Okay. And so I think, yeah, if I could, because Ying and Amaruk are on the ground, right?
Yes, but Ying is
Okay.
at this point kind of hiding in
Heading
the
for it.
bushes, kind of waiting to see where Tenzin is before making her move.
Okay, so I want to.
Oh wait, I have to switch music. Hold on. There we go. Now we
Yeah.
have the red pedals.
Oh yeah, I want to. I'll need a little bit of leeway, GM,
Sure.
on your part to make this happen.
Sure.
I want to engage with a foe.
Okay.
The foe I want to engage with is Grandmaster Yera. Basically, I want to draw her out from her meeting with Tenzin.
Okay.
And basically engage her myself to give Ying the opportunity to slip past and into Tenzin's chambers.
Okay. So I think how that's going to happen then is as you run up the stairs past the guards up until the main courtyard, at this point Ying and Tenzin are coming out of the main temple, and Tenzin being Tenzin's like, what in the world is going on here? Who is trying to steal that airship? And Grandmaster Yera kind of cracks her neck and goes, well, whoever they are, we'll take care of them. And it's at this point that she locks eyes with you, Lu Songshi, and she says, oh, this is just my day. You've walked literally into the lion's den. And Tenzin goes, who is this? This is one of the Dark Avatar's friends, the ones I was just telling you about. Well, that's absurd. Why would they come here? Probably because they want to take you out. I mean, Dark Avatar, they want to destroy everything, remember?
And I think Lu will just snap very forcefully. That's a lie, Master Tenzin. We came to meet with you. We mean nobody here any harm. But if the White Lotus is intent on forcing this confrontation, I will respond.
So Tenzin's going to be looking between you and the Grand Master, and that is your seize a position.
Mhm.
But you have one more defended maneuver because you rolled a full hit.
I am going to... and I think... I'm going to retaliate.
Okay, so you get ready for them to come at you. All right. So, since you advanced and attacked up into Grandmaster Yera, we have to do something a little bit differently. So, what's going to happen is Grandmaster Yera is going to take up that earthbending stance that she had before, and is going to start to kind of circle you as you kind of move and get ready to retaliate based on what she does. But when she throws her fist forward, nothing happens. She lost her bending. And you kind of think, okay, what was that? You can't bend, kind of a thing. And then she winks, and then all of a sudden, a rock column is going to come erupting out of the ground underneath of you, and will knock you off your feet, inflicting impaired.
Impaired.
So, at this point,
I'm gonna go
everybody's
ahead
in the
and
same
just-
exchange.
Mhm.
And I would say Shazo and Amarok, you probably would have heard the whole earthbending thing in the courtyard. But remember, you also still have the airship to deal with. So, full new exchange. What are you all doing?
Emmerich, you decide first.
So, but I do just want to say one thing though,
Sure.
Jim, before we do that. So, she inflicted impaired on me, so I'm going to mark a fatigue,
Mm-hmm.
so that I don't have to mark -2 to my physical actions.
Okay.
And it'll knock Lu off balance, but he'll recover rather quickly and redirect a portion of that rock back at Master Yera as a retaliate, and that will deal 1 fatigue.
One fatigue has been
to
noted.
Yera.
Awesome. But yeah, Amarok, I think you get to pick first here.
So defend and maneuver.
Okay.
I'm going to advance and attack.
Advance and attack. Okay. And Lu Songshi.
And I think Lu Songshi, you know what, is also going to advance and attack.
Okay. So, Amrook, since you are defend and maneuver, you get to go first. What is it? Let's see what you get with your focus, and we'll see what happens. All right, you get to pick one.
Yeah, I think I'll just retaliate. So, not necessarily taking up position, but now that the guards have sort of refocused their attention, they were originally sort of scuttling towards the airship, trying to engage the obvious threat. I've come up behind them, started to disrupt them. Their attention is refocused on me, and planting my feet solidly, I'm going to just prepare to, I guess, respond if any of them engage me.
All right, noted. And the other person who gets to go and defend a maneuver is Ying herself. And Ying is going to kind of look at Lu Songshi and give him a nod, and then is going to bolt from her cover. Almost, we're using football references today, apparently. She quite literally grabs Tenzin kind of in a sweeping motion by his waist and drags him into the building. And of course, Tenzin, shoots air blast and goes, "Unhand me this instant! You have no idea!" And then you can't hear him anymore as they get into the air temple. And you hear Ying call back, "I'll be quick!" And that's where Ying is. And we now come to advance and attack, which is Lu Songshi and Shazou. Which one of you would like to go first?
Ooh, you go first.
All right.
You get another 2.
All right. So I am going to. Let's see. I'm going to choose pressure.
Okay.
So in the next exchange, Grandmaster Yera cannot use advance and attack.
Okay.
And I'm also going to strike her.
Okay. Are you going to
So
mark the
she's-
fatigue, or?
Yeah, I'm going to mark the fatigue, and I am going to inflict a condition on her.
Okay.
And that condition is going to be trapped. As
Well, that's a status,
Lu-
not a condition.
Oh, sorry, not a condition. That's right. That's a status.
But she still takes
yeah.
condition. That's part of her health.
Yeah.
She's still-
No, sorry. Yeah, that's I will. Yeah, you know what? Sorry, I'm gonna make her mark 2 fatigue.
Make her mark 2. Are you sure? Because technically the NPCs have 2 tracks. They have the condition track and the fatigue track.
Oh, okay, so they're not counted together.
No.
Oh,
So
okay.
the way the NPCs work is they have conditions. Master NPCs, which she is. Master NPCs have 5 conditions like a PC would. And then they have a fatigue track of 10. I don't mind revealing that.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's. I am going to. We're gonna make her insecure.
Okay, so she'll take a -2 to that. So, tell me a little bit about how you make her insecure, because I'm curious how that looks.
I think her initial smugness, remembering their last sort of confrontation and how she sort of just smacked Lou around a lot in the last one, because he was busy trying to absorb blows and sort of keep his friends from being injured. But now he's sort of just laser focused on her and trusting to his friends to protect themselves. And I think his focus and his will is just focused squarely on her and on nobody else. And I feel like that's not something that she's ever experienced from him. And I think now that she may believe that perhaps she underestimated him.
I like it. It's good justification. All right, so as that's going on, Shazou, you're up next, and then it'll be some NPCs.
Shazou is looking at the 3 firebenders. They're now unable to run up the ramp, correct?
Correct.
Okay. He is going to look at them, look at the airship, look back at them, look at the airship, and then say, "Duchess Emily, I'm sorry I had to come to this." And he's going to go ahead and smash again, but
Okay,
this
well,
time
first-
to take out... Go ahead.
First, you got to roll passion.
I'm sorry.
That's quite all right.
Gotta do the rules right.
And there you go. You can do your one. Carry on.
Okay. He's gonna go ahead and he is gonna mark the fatigue to smash, and he's going to ignite the airship's balloon to basically destroy it, but to create a horrific distraction, so that hopefully everyone comes this direction.
Yeah, fire like that, kind of a very big deal. So you whoosh up the airship. And at this point, the White Lotus are kind of looking between the fight with Lu Songshi and looking at the airship. And they decide that the Grand Master has it, and they're going to start running towards the airship. So they were basically evading and observing. So all the White Lotus individuals are going to kind of rush towards Amarok and towards Shazo at this point. They are going to look at you, Amarok, like thinking should they strike you on the way, but they see you in that retaliation, and they're thinking, no, let's deal with the big fire first, kind of a thing. Because otherwise they were going to attack you. I mean, I'll tell you that. They were going to attack you, but airship on fire is kind of a bigger idea. But yeah, with that, we have a brand new exchange. What would you all like to do?
I'm going to
observe, because I have to get off this airship.
Okay.
Defend and maneuver.
Defend and maneuver.
Attack and advance.
All right. Well,
wait, how would you defend and maneuver? Seize a position. Can I switch it up?
Yeah, you can switch it up.
Yeah, I'd like to defend and maneuver.
All right, let's do you first then. So Shazo, go ahead and roll with focus here, and let's see how many you get.
Crossed. I'll roll with focus. Sorry. Oh,
yep.
So scared. Come on. Oh, we missed. Oh no.
So you can still use one, but you got to mark a fatigue.
I'll do it. And
actually, no, sorry. You have to shift your balance away from center to use one technique.
Okay, I will do that, and I will seize a position to get off this airship.
Okay.
Because it's on fire.
do you do the classic like superhero landing? Do you kind of just make a display of it, or do you just hop off the airship kind of thing?
Shazo is going to, so as the airship's like boom, 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 he's like running, and Fasapo's like, me, and he's like, I know, Fasapo, I know, me, I know, me, I know, and then whoosh, like flame jet off the ship, and then tries to do a superhero landing, but hits the ground hard and then comes to a roll, lands on his feet, looks to see if anybody noticed, everybody did, and then just brushes it off.
Nice. All right. Well, Lu Songshi, you're up next as that display happens.
Wonderful. All right. Here we go.
All right, you get one.
Perfect. I am going to choose ready. So
Okay.
now I'm going to mark a fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to apply a status to Grandmaster Yera, and that is that she is going to be stunned.
I don't know if we want to go straight to stunned, because stunned is like a really big one, but I could give you impaired maybe.
Let's do impaired.
Okay. And so what are you doing to the environment specifically? I might have missed it there.
So I think in this particular instance, what's going to happen is Lou will come down, bring both of his hands down on the ground sort of flat, and in a sweeping motion, he'll begin to sort of almost wave his arms like he's juggling, and plinths of rock will be just sort of randomly jutting up under Grandmaster Yera, meaning that she's got to basically focus on avoiding all of those, and it'll take a good amount of her mental bandwidth to do that.
Okay. So as that's all happening, I think Yera's going to kind of shout over the din of rocks and fire and explosions. You know, your little dark avatar didn't take away my bending. She actually gave me something which I think you're going to hate. And probably to your horror, she lifts up a chunk of rock, holds it spinning above her palm, and it begins to glow and spin. And in a moment, she's holding a discus of lava. And she's going to smash it at you, Lu Songshi. So, what this means is her smash is going to actually negate what you just did. So there's going to be no net negative, no net positive. You basically are countering each other
She can't
can't?
advance and attack.
Well,
Because
no. Lava Star is defend and maneuver.
Okay, but you said it was smash. Smash is advance and attack.
Am I mixing it up? I might be wrong. Hold on. You might be right. You are right. I'm an idiot. So yeah, all right, so that the defend and maneuver is her conjuring the Lava Star, and then next time she can use the smash action. So she's still having to dance around with this Lava Star above her palm, but she is more or less getting ready to unleash literal lava at you, so big deal.
Oh, that's so much better.
Yeah, so much better.
Hurrah!
All right, so advancing and attacking. Amrik, you were advancing attack or evading observing?
I was advancing and attacking.
All right. Go ahead and do your roll, and let's see what happens. All right,
Nice.
You get 2.
All right. So the first thing that I will do is, noting the firebenders that are approaching the ship, I will strike.
Mm-hmm.
And Amaruk, using that sheet of ice that has been formed in front of her, will leap upon it and use that as a bit of a slide, melting it in front of her so that she can propel herself along it. And then she's going to strike out at one of the guards using her staff, trying to trip them and essentially discombobulate them.
Okay. So since you're striking, do you want to mark the fatigue to choose which they get, or do you want to just let me decide?
I'll let you decide.
All right. So they are going to mark 2 fatigue, actually, and because they're technically a group, you're going to get a whole lot of them with your staff strikes. And what I would tell you is that as you slide out the other side of the group, you look back and see that they are just barely keeping their feet. They look winded and otherwise look like just a quick brush of air would knock them down, kind of a thing.
Okay.
Unfortunately, though... Oh, well, sorry, you do get a second one. Go ahead.
Yes. Would I be within sort of striking range of Master Yera?
I would say yes, but it's a bit of a stretch.
Okay. No, then we'll forego that. I'll just target the group with a series of water spikes that or ice spikes that emerge out of the pool,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just going to destabilize them and keep them off balance so that they won't be able to attack and advance next turn.
Okay, and that's good. So for this turn, though, they are going to be able to advancing attack, and this time the 3 firebenders are going to combine and go for you, Amaruk. And for you, let me just quickly find where I wrote that down. For you, I'm going to need you to either dive for cover or you're going to take the blow.
And what would that entail?
Now, that's the question. Do I tell you immediately is the question.
No, I think that I will attempt to dive for cover. That sounds interesting. So,
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Oh, I think I read it wrong. But basically, you can either mark the fatigue to dodge it, or you can allow it to hit you and mark 2 conditions. But if you dodge it, the fire's going to miss you, but it's going to set everything around you on fire.
Then, yeah, I'll take it, and I'll mark 2 conditions.
Okay. So yeah, you are enveloped by fire, and you're not feeling all that great from taking that sort of a blow. And then I think that's all the combatants in my head, so new exchange. So fresh techniques from everyone, and what I'm going to tell you for sake of argument, this is going to be the last exchange, so make it count.
Go and advance and attack, because I gotta save Amaruk.
Okay, advancing and attacking.
I will defend and maneuver.
Defend and maneuver. Okay.
I will advance and attack as well.
All right, so Lu Songxi, you go first.
Okay. All right. Come on now.
Full hit, you get 2.
All right. So I will. I'll ready.
Okay.
Again. And. Yep. So again, this is going to be against. I'm just going to mark fatigue. This is going to be against Grandmaster Yera.
And this time, I will give you trapped or doomed that you can inflict on her.
Yeah, I think. You know what? Let's go with doomed.
Okay.
And for my second one, this is going to be the last exchange. I'm going to also do retaliate.
Okay.
And for the Doom thing, this is something that you haven't seen Lu Songshi do ever. But he will pull a trick out of the Dai Li playbook and use the giant stone hands. Will just sort of erupt, tearing up big chunks of the garden, the masonry, everything, and will literally just come together in a somebody swatting a fly, just as hard as he can. You just hear the rocks grinding as the palms start to just grind themselves together.
And what I'm going to say then, before we go to advancing and attacking, I think what's going to happen is the Lava Star, because she was also going to defend a maneuver again, and I double-checked. Actually, no, I think, again, I'm reading it wrong. So, yes, she does have to advance and attack, so we'll come to her in a moment. For sake of argument, you have slammed her between two rocky palms is what has happened. So, yeah, Shazo, you're up next.
I am going to roll my dice first, because that's what I have to do. Let's see what happens.
And you get 1.
There you go. He is going to strike, just, rapidly moving towards the benders that Amarok was engaged with just a series of fire strikes mixed in with some, martial arts, just trying to knock them all off their feet and, otherwise incapacitate them.
Okay. And since they are minor NPCs, they only have 3 fatigue, and they've already marked 2, so you don't have to mark anything. They are going to be taken out of the fight.
Nice. Amarok, are you okay?
I had that.
You know what? You did.
But thanks anyways.
You're welcome.
She says as she's clutching at a small smoldering burn mark on her shoulder.
Well, Amarok, you get to go next.
So, as I roll passion here, what's the state of the battlefield in terms of enemy combatants? Because it seems as if everyone has actually been dealt with.
So what you would see, and I probably should have described this a little bit better at the beginning, so you've got the main courtyard in the center of the space. The airship is off to the left behind one of the buildings. There is another airship to the right, also behind one of the buildings. The staircase leading up from the docks comes into the center of the courtyard. And what you're seeing is that the guard hut that had the people listening to Pro Bending, they're starting to come out of the guard hut at this point and starting to rush over towards you and Shazo. And a few are also rushing towards the doomed Grandmaster Yera. But they are technically not in this exchange at this moment.
And what I would say is with that failure, Amarok attempts to move to intercept the guards that are rushing to assist Master Yera, but instead she sort of buckles and grimaces, again clutching at that shoulder, and staggers. So she's essentially interrupted in her efforts.
Okay. So now's where Yera gets to do a little something with her Lava Star, and she gets to do this for free as part of her attack, but the top part, like the finger part of the hands, the rocky hands that you've slammed her with, Lu Songshi, they are glowing, heating up, and then in a burst of magma are going to sort of erupt and fall away, so that her head is poking out with the lava disc, the lava star above it, and she is going to, using the last of her strength, is going to throw that lava star at you. So what this is going to mean is, and this is a little bit of a homebrew here because there's only the one lava star technique and I wanted this to be cool. You have kind of an option here. You can either mark 2 fatigue and take the lava star, or you can mark a condition and everything around you is going to catch fire. So I think you've got enough fatigue to do this.
Yeah, I do.
I just want to highlight that you're getting hit by lava, so it does mean something in the narrative.
Yeah. I think this is yep, let's do that. So I would like to do let's get a little flashy with this because I kind of want to make this a little dramatic or maybe even melodramatic. But as Lu sort of sees that come, it's like that slow motion, time slows down. He knows it's going to hit him. And so just with his last second, he just sort of, and this is where my retaliate action comes in, just sort of ball Master Yera like into a giant like earth ball and basically fling her out into the bay.
Okay.
And when the lava ball hits him, I would like for it to just take him out of the combat, like just completely render him unconscious.
I love it. I love it. All right. So, as all that happens, as Amaruk, as you stumble, as Shazo, as you stand up and get ready to help and do what you can, at this point, there's kind of a stop, as Tenzin comes running out with Ying right behind him. And Tenzin, again, shouts like, everyone, stop what you're doing at the moment. All of you, stop. And he actually goes for like an air blade slam to stop the White Lotus from going forward. And he looks around and goes, what did you do with the Grandmaster? And I think Ying points at the ball of rock that's now splooshing into the ocean. I'm pretty sure that's her. Well, some of you get in a boat and go get her. And, you know, the White Lotus kind of look between, you know, Ying and Tenzin and then you all, and they kind of look over at the ocean and they go scrambling off to go rescue the Grandmaster. And Tenzin kind of looks at the fire airship, or what remains of it, and goes, now you've burned a perfectly good airship. Oh, if you had just come here on another day, we could have handled this peacefully. Sorry, it was kind of my idea. Sorry. Well, regardless. Oh dear, is he all right? Pointing at
just smoldering. Just completely out and smoldering. Just
you there, waterbender girl. I don't know your name. Can you put him out? Heal him.
And I think just staggering forward again on unstable legs, Amaruk is going to one-armed try to bend forward some of that water from the aqueduct system again and down onto Xiaozhou or onto Lu Shangxi, just gritting her teeth and not actually saying anything in response.
And Tenzin, being Tenzin's not going to notice the fact that you're injured because he's kind of focused on other things. But he kind of does that thing Tenzin does where he kind of flicks his Fu Manchu and goes, all right, so where is this amulet that supposedly does what you say it does? And Ying points over at Shazo, and Tenzin makes a beeline for you, Shazo.
Shazo takes a step back. Fazapo jumps like forward and hisses at the Grandmaster.
And I think as Tenzin comes to a stop and he looks down at the scroll and goes, I don't have time for this squirrel business. I need to see the amulet.
He looks over at Ying.
She gives a hesitant thumbs up.
And he slowly takes it out and shows it to him.
And Tenzin kind of leans in and gets real close and inspects it. Okay. All right. And he actually relaxes quite a bit and he says, I believe your story. Artifact like this isn't something that you can fake. I can tell it's brimming with spiritual energy.
So we're cool?
Well, you're cool with me. I don't think you're cool with Grandmaster Yera. Probably shouldn't have thrown her in the ocean.
She started it.
I think at this, like, Lou's maybe coming around and just first words out of his mouth is, she threw lava at me.
Who does that? Who throws lava?
Well, as far as I know, lava bending is a very rare technique, and at this Tenzin turns to look at Ying. It seems that your energy bending went a little bit haywire. We'll need to work on that. And Ying's like, okay.
Yeah, she made me a metal bender too.
Okay, that is apparently very alarming. We need to talk about that further. But for now, I think we can all relax. I think we can all calm down and deal with this like adults.
She taught me the power of friendship.
That's good. I'm glad we can all relax now.
All right. Let me get you some help there. Is this Lu? Yeah, that's Lu Songshi. Okay. Well, Lu, I'm gonna get you some help, and if any of the White Lotus come chasing after all of you, just tell them that if they touch a hair on your head, that they will have to deal with me. And Tenzin runs off to go get you some help.
Oh.
I don't think Lou has hair anymore.
Did I get her?
Oh yeah, you got her, buddy.
Yeah, very impressive.
Yeah, you guys got really beat up. I didn't even take a single hit. You should be more nimble. Like, you should flow like water.
Yeah.
I hate you. Sometimes I really hate you.
I'll remember that for next time.
Lava bending. That's cheating. That's like fire bending and earth bending together.
Yeah. I really don't even know how that qualifies as earthbending.
Yeah, and I think kind of scratches the back of her head and tries to look anywhere that's not Lu Songxi. Yeah, apparently I don't know how to energy bend right. Whoops.
Well, you know what? You're learning. And I learned something too.
Lava hurts?
Okay, well, I've learned two things. One is, yes, lava is quite painful. The second is that none of you need me to fight for you. You need me to fight with you.
We also kind of need you to stop us from doing really stupid things, because that distraction by attacking the airship was not the best of our plans. To be fair, though, that wasn't actually what I was suggesting, Xiaozhou.
I feel really bad.
You gotta be more clear about these things.
Those White Lotus guys were all right.
Well, all's well that ends well, I suppose, but good lord, I can't be the only healer among us, really, because...
Oh, yeah, sorry. I was kind of caught in the moment. Let me help you. And Ying runs over and gets her own kind of water from the aqueducts and begins healing your wound. And as this is all happening...
shoulders dislocated.
I think at this point, Wolf, if we want to do the thing we talked about, I think this is the perfect moment for it.
So as everyone is fixing things up, Xiaozhou is going to look down at the amulet and realizing that at least in this moment, his friends are safe. They're in the care or the protection of a very powerful airbender. He's going to walk over and just tap on Ying's shoulder. Ying, could I talk to you for just a second?
Amrik, do you think you can take it from here? Did I get most of it?
And I think just taking control of the golden water that has been swirling around the wound, Emmerich is just going to take that and begin healing the last of the damage before moving back to Lou and just give her a nod.
Okay. And yeah, Ying steps over away from the others with you, Xiaozhou.
So Ying, I need you to do me a favor.
If it's within my power, I'd be happy to. What is it you need?
I need you to also promise that you're not going to argue with me about this.
I can kind of promise that, but if it's a really stupid idea, I'm going to tell you no.
And he looks down at the amulet. He looks back to Ying. It's not stupid. It's just something that I really have to do. And I can't keep running from it. I need you to open a portal to the spirit realm. Because I'm going to go find my dad. And I'm going to bring him back.
I think there's a moment of silence as Ying processes that and says, you realize that unless I come in with you, the only way you're going to find a way out of the spirit world is during harmonic convergence, right?
This is my penance for not being there for him when I should have been. We've talked about it. We've talked about this being a journey. This is my journey, and the journey that I need to take. And you're the only one that can help me take the first step.
All right, I'll do it. But maybe you don't have to be trapped. Do you remember the Tree of Time?
Yeah, of course.
So, we never investigated it, but... And I don't remember if it was the north or south one, the ones near the poles. But Vatu told me while we were there last time that apparently somebody's been trying to open one of the portals. So I guess if things go south, go for one of those. But yeah,
So if things go south, I should go north? And he smiles at her.
Something like that, yeah. I don't know, I feel weird. I feel like I'm exiling you from everything.
No, it's just a little time apart. But I'll be back. I have to be back. We're all in this together, aren't we?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm really bad at goodbyes. Can you tell them for me? Just open the portal right now and just be like, he had to go do a thing.
And as Tenzin comes running out with a bunch of air nomad individuals like, and go over there, help him out, and Dark Avatar, what are you doing? And the Dark Avatar yells, I'm opening a portal, don't worry! And just rips open into the spirit world and holds it open and goes, go, Shazo, go, go, go.
He looks to Fazappo.
Wait, what?
You ready for this? And Fazappo goes, Rrr! And then they leap into the spirit portal.
And the moment you're through, Ying lets go of the spirit portal. It snaps closed. Reality is sealed. And Tenzin comes over to be Tenzin and yell at the Dark Avatar. But that is where we're going to end Season 1 of Rise of the Dark Avatar. Now, I do want to say one thing, because if you didn't already pick up the vibes, unfortunately, Wolf is having to step out for work concerns for at least a month. We will be continuing with Season 2. We're still in kind of the negotiating process where either it will just be Lu Songxi and Amarok that will be kind of holding the fort down until Wolf comes back, or we might end up picking up a new third, temporary or otherwise, depending on Wolf's situation. But I did want to give a huge shout out to Wolf. Thank you so much for being here tonight. We've enjoyed you immensely, and as you just said, we really would like you to have you back at the table if possible.
Oh, absolutely. It's I just want to say to both the other players as well as ELH, playing with you guys has reignited, and I've said this many times, reignited my passion for role-playing games. It's something that I enjoy, and I do intend fully to come back. Unfortunately, real life is getting in the way right now, and I wish you both the best as I can. I'll definitely be watching, or at least listening in, and wishing you guys the best. And to all the viewers, thank you so much for supporting, and I do hope to see you guys again in the coming months. So yeah, thank you, everybody.
Well, positive here, you can actually start spending all those points you saved up.
I know, I'll be able to boot in for like 5 minutes and be like, +1 for it, +1 for it, +1 for it. I'm gonna do it. I have like 24 or 25,000. I gotta start spending
a lot.
So yeah, but thank you, ELH, for everything, and I do truly hope to be back soon. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Very much welcome. All right, YouTube, this is where we can say goodbye, but Twitch, let's find somebody to raid.